Hey, thanks for reaching out. So here's how I would go about it. I'm like tripping over myself. I would look at the words that they would say in the website and then develop a strategy from there. And also use some of the knowledge that I've already got. So if anyone was going to talk about this, like the press, or you could go to like an AI or something like that, it's like, tell me about the Rio Grande plan. They would start to use some of the keywords that you could use. So like restore, citizen proposal. It's like the rhetoric is kind of like out there where they're appealing to the community, etc. Oh, and there's this bold statement of a divided community. Well, what evidence do you have of a divided community is the first question that I've got, but that's boring Dale librarian. So what we've got is some of those ideas, and there's like, just a whole bunch of different things. So first thing I did is I was like, well, is that like urban renewal? And so I went to Gemini and I started asking questions. I'm like, is this gentrification? And it's kind of like gentrification is like the negative and urban redevelopment is the official. But then I asked AI another question. Well, what are synonyms for urban redevelopment? And then at the very bottom it said the best words to use is urban regeneration. Or rehabilitation. First insult the neighborhood that you want to fix up and then say we're going to fix you up. It's going to be okay. So moving on from that, so what we've got is some keywords. Let me show you my keywords that I've got. Let me make this big. So what I did is I started to build up some keywords. And do you remember when I was in class where I talked about putting stuff in quotes? If I don't know if it's urban and renewal stuck together, then I might leave the quotes out, but I know that it's definitely tied to that, so you stick it in quotes. And then if I don't know which one it's called, I can use that. And then I'm starting to use the words of AI. Sorry, my brain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'll send you these in the email too. But, there's also, I found, have you ever heard of NIMBY? Not in my backyard. This is where the community was not consulted. And they're like, hey, what are you doing putting that in my backyard? And there's also YIMBY, which I think is a lame after effect. NIMBY is much more prominent. But there you go. Another unsolicited Dale commentary. So if you go to the Marriott Library, go to Advanced Catalog Search, and you paste this in, there's probably going to be like a zillion of them. Okay, 109,000, close. So I would say if we want to find something exactly what you're talking about, make sure that it's searching for this in the title. So there's only 27,000. So if you go to the peer-reviewed journals, which might be one of the requirements, there's only 5,000 to go through. So what you can do to narrow it down is this is where you can put in those extra keywords like community. Hey, that narrows it down a little bit. Or you can do participation or YIMBY or NIMBY. Or if you wanted to find cases where somebody else had done it, what we did, train station or railroad. Hey, cool. That's kind of cool. Oh, they did it in Barcelona. And you might have to keep on checking peer-reviewed journals if you're interested in that. So if these keywords work really well, what databases would I recommend? I'm glad you asked. So if we go to Marriott Library homepage and go to the research guides, and if I recall correctly, this was for, I think we used this guide, right? Undergraduate research. That's the one that I'll send. If you go down to the databases, here's some more keywords and ideas. But if you go down to the databases, if you want to find words about what people are talking about right now, you can go to Nexus Uni and you could do Rio Grande Project. Let's see if that shows up. This is not scholarly works, but this would be newspapers like the Tribune and things. Again, quotes, Rio Grande Oh, it's the Rio Grande Plan. I bet we're going to get a lot of river stuff from Texas. But we can go to source location. Let's say I'm interested in North America. Oh man, that was terrible. Let's go back to Utah. Okay. Sorry, side light. Hey, there we go. So Readers Forum from the Deseret News, Salt Lake Tribune. EPA is involved with it. Ooh, so maybe there's some funding that's coming from elsewhere that will help with this. So you get some of the rhetoric here. So people who are talking about what's going on, people who have opinions, the names of people, all of these things you can use to go back in and look for the scholarly articles. Even if this doesn't fulfill what you're looking for the criteria for the class, these might be really handy to put in as extra quotes anyway, because you'll get like the voices of people who are going on. But if we go to databases, I would recommend, so if we're just looking at urban redevelopment in general, my favorite ones for this would be Communication Mass Media Complete, obviously, because these things like this, I'm going to go to advanced search and look for this in the title again. This would be the rhetoric of change management, advocacy, campaigning, and things like that. So there might be a lot in here. Oh, there's only 23. Urban regeneration and stakeholder dynamics. Another one from that guide would be PAIS. This is a public policy database. So let's just throw it in here, the keywords as they were. You could do a title search. I bet there's going to be 10,000. Oh, 8,000. So even though it's something from China, you could go in and say, since this is a scholarly peer-reviewed article, they're going to be talking about, whoa, heritage context. So the Rio Grande Station and social embeddedness, that's a big deal. Yeah, have you been there? It's beautiful. And it's been around for like 100 years or something like that. So even if it's not talking directly about Salt Lake City and Utah, other people have been going on with these redevelopment projects, negotiating, making appeals to the community and things like that. And don't forget their citation generators. So Communication Mass Media Complete, Sociological Abstracts, and PAIS, and the library catalog would probably be the ones that I would use. Let me know how it goes. I think this is like a great project, and you're probably going to find too much stuff. So be sensitive to the stuff that you find that goes, oh, that's really good, and that's a good way to pick it.